The application market is growing at a fast pace. We will find out why young venture capitalists are taking interest in application development. Science and technology is emerging as a key area in the creative economy. How does science and technology influence economic growth and create new jobs? The tablet PC war has been reignited and heating up competition among small and large tablet PC makers. What is the competitive edge within the tablet PC market? We will look into the driving force behind Clio, which is the first company in the world to develop rounded toothbrush bristles. North Korea celebrates victory in the Korean War with a large-scale military march. We will find out about the kind of preparations needed for the military march.
Hello and welcome to Bizline. I'm Kurt Asian, filling in for Andrew Salmon. This week we're going to talk about science and technology. They are the absolute DNA of economic achievement in the 21st century. Here in Korea, we'll be talking to someone who influences the investment decisions on science and technology in just a moment. But first, here's a look at the business headlines in Korea this week.
Korea's consumer prices grew at their fastest pace in 5 months in July, but were still in the 1% range for the 9th straight month. Statistics Korea said that the nation's inflation gained 1.4% last month from the same period a year earlier, after rising 1% in June. The Korean market has long been a destination for Chinese investors. South Korea's Financial Supervisory Service reported that Chinese investments in the Korean stock, bond and real estate markets reached about $18 billion as of the end of June. As the Chinese government has plans to soon let individuals invest directly in foreign securities, the trend is likely to continue. Korea's foreign exchange holdings reached a record high last month. The Bank of Korea says that the country's foreign exchange reserves reached some $330 billion in July. The central bank officials say the strength of the euro helped expand the reserves as euro-denominated assets increased when they were converted to the greenback. The government has announced it will devise measures to help increase the supply of long-term rented homes called jeonse and expand financial assistance for home seekers of these rental homes. The decision comes as the prices of these properties continue to soar. This has tripled the price growth of home purchases during the same period. Korea's ballooning household debt is projected to break through a less than enviable milestone in the near future, roughly $900 billion. The Bank of Korea has yet to announce its second quarter figure, but it's likely to hit a new record high, as more Koreans rush to borrow money to rent and buy houses.
Smartphones and the applications that drive them have become a huge part of everyone's daily life. And the market for those applications has been growing incredibly quickly. For young entrepreneurs, sometimes all it takes is a small idea to start chasing dreams of success in the creative economy. Now, we're going to take a look at a group of young Korean entrepreneurs who are venturing forth in search of the next great smartphone app.
President Park Geun-hye is a strong supporter of the creative economy, a ground for the creative minds to exercise their ideas and realize their dream. Mobile application developers can be considered a good example that represents what the creative economy is all about. People nowadays have a mobile device in their hand being entertained by applications that run on smartphones and other portable devices. To meet growing demands, there are new apps of all types introduced every day through various platforms. So what attracts tech-savvy to become mobile application developers?
뭔가 창조적인 그리고 창의적인 아이디어로 현대 기술과 접목을 해서 또 다른 콘텐츠들을 생산해내고 그 콘텐츠들로 인해서 또 수익을 발생시키고
앱 같은 경우는 즉시 세계 시장에 나가서 세계에서 경쟁할 수 있기 때문에 그것도 가장 큰 앱의 매력이라고 생각하고 있습니다.
With the rise in interest in app development, its market has been growing rapidly. Last year, paid application market in South Korea nearly doubled from 2011 to around $360 million, and the trend shows that the market is likely to grow even further.
아마 당분간은 1, 2년, 2, 3년 정도는 거의 뭐 한 7, 80% 이상의 성장률을 보일 거라 보고요. 그 얘기는 뭐 모바일 앱 시장만 가지고도 조만간 2, 3년 내에 뭐 한 1조까지도 바라볼 수 있는 시장 규모가 나올 것 같습니다.
The Korean government is also playing an important role in helping to develop the app market. It has been working to provide exposure for the startups and entrepreneurs, such as giving Mobile of the Month award.
그 모바일 앱 어워드는 말 그대로요. 모바일 앱을 좋은 앱들을 시장에서 이제 시작한 중소기업들을 발굴을 해서 조기에 마케팅을 도와주는 그런 프로그램입니다. 그래서 미래창조과학부와 머니투데이가 매달 좋은 앱들을 선발하는 그런 프로그램입니다.
Timecast is the awards recipient in July with its app Everyface, which is one of the most downloaded apps recently.
저희가 으뜸앱을 받은 앱이 이제 상을 받은 앱이 모두의 얼굴이라고 하는 어플이에요. 재밌을 것 같으니까 한번 빨리 만들어 볼까라는 식으로 만들었는데 이 반응이 상상을 초월하게 이제 크게 반응을 이끌어냈거든요. 지금 한 이제 3달 정도 된 것 같은데 지금까지 400만 다운로드를 달성을 했어요.
Getting recognition with such award is important for app developers who are just getting off the ground.
그 스타트업들, 이런 중소기업들이 맨 처음에 앱을 만드는 것까지는 원래 또 큰 무리 없이 하는 회사들이 있습니다. 근데 결국 그 다음 단계에서 어려운 거는 역시 마케팅입니다. 그리고 홍보죠. 그런 관점에서 이 모바일 앱 어워드에 선정이 되면 일단 신문지상으로 홍보가 나가고요. 그러면 또 투자자나 또 관련 업계 분들한테 훨씬 관심을 받을 수 있기 때문에 여러 가지 사업적인 기회들을 만들 수 있습니다.
Giving an award to good apps isn't the only support the government is providing. There are various programs run by local governments that offer a space where these startups can work together efficiently. An application developer support center operated by the Seoul City local government is one of such programs.
이 서울 앱 창업센터를 통해서 입주하는 스타트업 기업들이 센터에 입주를 함으로써 소요해야 될 어떤 최소한의 비용, 예를 들어서 임대 비용 그리고 관리 비용 이런 전액을 다 지원해주고 있습니다. 그래서 이분들이 개발에만 집중할 수 있는 환경을 제공해주고 있는 상황입니다.
And there are app developers who have just started benefiting from this program.
그 영세한 스타트업 기업 같은 경우에는 공간에 대한 문제가 제일 심각하다고 생각을 하고요. 그런 부분에 있어서 이제 서울 IT 센터에서 이제 공간을 이제 제공을 해주셔서 저희가 좀 개발에 되게 큰 도움을 받고 있습니다.
저희가 기본적으로 게임을 만들어서 어떤 신문사나 이런 데 내는 것보다 서울 앱창업센터의 이름으로 그런 언론기관에 내면은 조금 더 부각을 받을 수 있다고 생각하고 있습니다.
One startup at this center recently hit success with a mobile application, a game adapted from Jacks or Knucklebones. The developers, college friends in their senior year, started the project at their university clubroom, but moved to this center, and now their game is #1 in app downloads for 2 weeks in a row. As such, these programs are important for the startups in app development in giving them the opportunity to explore opportunities.
지금 그 앱 생태계가 발전하기 시작하면서 지금 또 정부에서도 많은 좋은 프로그램과 지원 정책들이 나오고 있어서 다행인 거는 이제 이 생태계에 참여하는 젊은 창업자들이 늘어나고 있다는 건 매우 긍정적입니다.
However, there needs to be more assistance. Many apps under development are focused on the domestic market, but there are more opportunities in the global market and help earn foreign currencies.
정부에서도 단순히 지금 뜨는 앱들에 관심을 갖는 것보다는 이제 해외 시장 쪽에 눈을 돌려주시고 만들어진 앱들을 나가게 하고 연결해 주는 것도 중요하지만은 좀 이런 미국 환경이 이렇고 글로벌 시장이 이렇게 되어 있으니까 이런 걸 만들면 되겠다라는 부분에 대한 어떤 가이드라인 정보 이런 부분들을 제공해 주시면 굉장히 큰 도움이 될 것 같습니다.
Application developers need help in achieving their success. But what they need to begin with is a mind equipped to face challenge. Countless entrepreneurs will create new ideas, and the creative economy will open the door to a new era.
In the 21st century, science is the foundation of a nation's strength. The investment decisions made in science and technology today can help steer a country's competitive edge in the marketplace tomorrow. Recently, President Park Geun-hye unveiled Korea's plans for advancing science and technology. And I'm here now with a key influencer in some of those policies. We're speaking with President of the Korea Institute for Science and Technology, Moon Kil-jun. Sir, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your institute's role in promoting science and technology.
Well, most of people already knows about KIST, but KIST was founded 1966, which is the first research institution in Korea. At that time, 1966, Korea's GDP was less than $100 US. But at that time, old President Park thought still science technology is the main strength for Korean economics. So that's the reason KIST was founded, year 1966.
And since then, tell me a little bit about some of the success stories that KIST has.
Well, there is many success stories, but in 1966, we don't have any good researchers to be work. So we recruit from overseas. Actually, 18 distinguished professors and researchers are started from here. But the first 10 years, actually they did for planning for the Koreans, what kind supposed to be to do helping our industries. So they planned for POSCO and Hyundai, automobile vehicles companies, those kind of things. After 10 years, 20 years, still beginning end of 1970s, they start to making more or less catch-up period, we call, means making better and good quality in good price. So at that time, we didn't do the original researches. Actually, we fabricate, making better ones. That's about 20 years. But I truly said, beginning of later of 1990s, the last 20 years, that time we thought we have to do more fundamental researches, origin of the science technologies. That's the last 20 years we started. So from that, well, if you ask some kind of success stories, we made better than the advanced countries' products. That's kind of success stories.
Exactly. Taking what's out there, making it even better, and getting the edge in the marketplace.
Exactly.
So that's the background, and that's been the business model up till now. What about the present? What are the present focuses?
As you know, that Korea, we cannot make it any more cheaper or faster than any other countries, because there are so many good other countries. At that time, we have to make in some kind of origin, and new fundamental technologies needs that. That's why, as you explained already, we are focusing on new President Park Geun-hye investing more money for basic science. That's the reason from that. But as you know, that it will take some time to coming out there.
Major increases in funding for science and technology here in Korea by 2017, some $80 billion in the budget. And a promise, or not even a promise, a prediction by the IMF and other sources that GDP, or per capita income, I should say, in Korea is going to reach 30,000. What role does science and technology play specifically in that?
That is a very good question and very difficult answers. Let me briefly talk about histories. Even last 20, 30 years, we have very difficult period, including IMF periods. Past president still never reduced our research funding. Every year, 5 to 10% increase last 20 years continuously. As one of the scientists, I really thanks for their policies. From now on, new presidents also promised putting the more money for basic researches. Well, the reason going back to the basic research is because we need innovative ideas for that, because the world is changing so fast. So basic research will be backbone of our new industries. That's the reason they're going to put more money in there.
There are a number of social challenges coming up in Korea's future, and not only innovating for the marketplace, but dealing with an aging society, dealing with climate change, the way the rest of the world is dealing with it. Do you see science and technology and your institute specifically playing a role there?
Oh yes, sure. exactly same as another countries' advanced research institutions. Because so far we had reduced the kind of social issues, but new social issues, as you mentioned, for the aging programs, the security programs, and the environmental programs. So our institution is focusing on those. One of the main focus is brain science. So everybody living longer and longer, but still they are not healthy enough when they become elderly ages. So the brain science is one of the field. Second is we are focusing on biomedical engineering cases. When you become 80 years old, 90 years old, but well, your mental is maybe quite good, but you're physically maybe not strong enough. That time we might help you, many ways for helping your movement and the lives. The last one is, as you know, that there is global warmings and so much in the environmental and engineering programs. So we are dealing on those things for the social issues. I think those are the three other social major issues, not only Korea's, in the world. Agings, environmentals, energies, those kind of things.
Tell me a little bit more about the climate change and the energy initiatives that the Institute is helping to push along.
Well, that's very difficult questions. You have to talk about since industrial periods, everybody uses so much for energy, so it produces a lot of CO2s. That will produce global warmings for that. But it will take another 20, 30 years going back to the origins, better weathers. But I hope, someday it drastically can be changes, because we will find new technologies, which is doesn't know where. Everybody talking about hydrogens and electric vehicles, those kind of things, nuclear powers. Then it suddenly can change, but it still takes, the environmental program will take at least 20, 30 years continuously. We have to focus on that.
And this surge in funding we just talked about, $80 million rather, for science and technology, basic science and technology. Do you feel that Korea is kind of playing catch up in a way, that it's spent disproportionately in other areas and not enough in basic science in the past, and now it's kind of catching up to what it needs to invest?
Well, Korea's case is there's not many fields to catching up places. We need find new things, new trends. So the basic research definitely will help for create industries. Let's think going back for such as like a Facebook, SNS, and 20 years ago, we never thought that ways. The world is changing very quickly for that ways. That's the reason we have to going back to other things. But in order to success that, we need kind of courageous. We have to challenge for the new domains for that. That's the kind of bottlenecks.
So you talked a moment ago about the need to innovate. That's partially a technical process, but that's also a human quality. You have to nurture the human talent and the human software to innovate. How does Korea tackle that challenge?
That is very difficult questions. Also, not only us, everything. Innovative ideas does not coming from the scientists or engineers. It's from social science. Engineers sometimes just complete for the request of the social economic demands. That's the example for the handphones. Society wants some kind of small things carrying on doing communications. That's a social demands. That's why some engineers create those kind of things. So innovative things usually coming from the arts and social things. So when we make the innovative research, innovative basic science, then we have to look carefully what the socials movings that ways. That's an example case for the SNS, same thing. Everyone wants to communicate to each other rather than meetings. 20, 30 years ago, no other way, you have to meet each other to communications. So that's why innovative things is coming, mixing with other groups, try to understand other people's thinking, try to understand other cultures from their truly coming out innovative ideas. That's why it will take quite a while to making those cultures.
So it's a question of becoming more attuned, even more sensory acuity to the social environment and filling social needs and desires in the marketplace. Where in the world have you seen smart examples of technology policies, perhaps places that have policies Korea could emulate?
Yeah, it used to be it's very easy because so many nice, good countries, so we can catch our benchmarkings. But it's not easy. But still, I think the Silicon Valley, maybe, is one of the examples. The environmental for creations coming out, ventures coming out, those kind of things. So if I pick up the city for the Silicon Valley, but you cannot make a Silicon Valley in Seoul right away, because that's the environmental coming from there. The other thing is such as like maybe Northern European countries, because they very much for secure for life qualities. They are, everywhere thought the North European country has very secure, good, high quality of life. So maybe those places we are trying to bench for industry-wise, but I'm thinking in the different ways. But that's I give you two examples for developed countries, but many other developing countries on other sectors. So when we see such as like many developing countries, so we have to look carefully what they need for their qualities. That's another field. For example, for here pastoral, we have the bio-research institutions. We try to making the vaccines from the malarias, but we don't have program malarias in here. But there is malaria is example for problem for African countries. So when we try to make better life for them, quality of life for them, we try to develop malaria vaccines with pastoral research institutions and Koreans.
Korea obviously leads in IT, semiconductors, flat screen panels, things like that. Those are the present and to an extent the past. What are the, I know you're going to say it's a hard question.
No, I didn't say that.
But
that's an easy question.
What are the future technologies? What kind of, you can't predict the future exactly, but you have to have an idea of what technologies Korea will latch onto.
Well, that's easy questions. Okay. Well, everybody said Korea is very strong ITs. But in IT, there's two ITs. One is soft IT, one is hard ITs. Maybe we are good for hard ITs because we used to have a good engineers. But good hard IT is just second step of soft ITs. We have to understand what a soft IT is. That's the difficulty parts.
Help me understand what a soft IT infrastructure is.
Well, to making it's easy, but when you see the soft IT is kind of demands, such as like young people try to communication with clouds and to you. That's kind of soft ITs. The soft ITs for when people are getting elderlies, they are very difficult to moving around to going to the hospital, wait a line long times. So if you make good things, is there any way communication your check your condition of a body to directly the medical doctors? Those kind of thinking is a soft ITs. So I really admire soft ITs such as like Star Wars in American fictions. That's because imagination 30 years ago. At that time, everybody talking without line for communication. Wow, how can you talk that? Also they see the outside that, but that comes true. That's the soft ideas, imaginations for that. Well, so there is rooms we can develop many soft ideas for that. So ICT is very important new fields for that. Another reason for that, same thing, exactly, there is still very lower than the life quality places. So we try to help them out. When you see that, there will be a lot of markets, I think.
Do you think there's room for imagination in innovating these new technologies in Korea? I mean, let's face it, people are taking their cues from industry, from the marketplace, from social research, things like that. The realm of pure imagination, is it there?
That's a weak point of Korea. True. Because our education system is more or less, by the rule, conduct things. There's a book, try to read, try to understand, just push into the brains. But the imagination coming out from, let it leave. Such as artists, Picasso's. I never heard they went to the good, the Ivy schools. Look at going back to the founder of Facebook, founder of Apple's. They not get, highly, highly good education systems. Let them split, be free. That's a weak point of the Koreans.
So there may be a conversation to be had between the policy shapers in science and the policy shapers in education.
Yeah, I think so.
Perhaps.
Yeah, that has to be the education system must be changes. Everybody understands that, but not my kids. You know, that's a difficult thing.
Next time, next generation.
Time, okay.
Right.
My kids be a good lawyer, be a good doctor, be a good government policies.
And so it goes.
Yeah, let it goes. Other people's. That's the most difficult things for them. But some reason society try to accept those kind of changes. Let it, my little kids free. In that, when we success that ones, then we'll be creative things. Good points. Let me talk about that. Well, used to be, let's go back to 15, 20 years ago, 80%, 90% movie is dominated in here, Western movies. Korean movies less than 10% of our markets. Now, let's say more than half, 67% is Korean markets. All youngsters, they let them live free. So they went out, they learn how to take pictures, write down the scenarios, those kind of things. But it takes a while for that. That's, I think, let the kids free.
So letting a little bit of that leash out translates into real economic benefits down the road, right?
Eventually, I think so. So one smart kids will lead economics, one lead the societies. That's the case. We show that. Facebook's same thing. One kids, maybe two kids. Apple's same thing.
So Korea is waiting for its Zuckerberg, or its Steve Jobs, right?
Steve Jobs, maybe, yeah, we try to. Yeah, maybe better than them. We try. That's the innovation. That's the innovation, truly.
Is freedom.
Freedom. Yeah, right. Then all the, including governments, including research institutions of kids, I should let my researchers be more free. That's easy to say, but very difficult to conduct and go there. But I really shame myself for I should leave the researchers, workers, let them more free for them.
They'll eventually watch this. And
thank you. You'll see. To change the Korea.
Moon Kil-chu, President of the Korea Institute for Science and Technology. Thank you so much for joining Bizline today.
You're welcome. It's my great pleasure, Kurt. I hope our discussion will help for many people, for young scientists.
Sure it is.
Thank you. Have a good Sunday.
Technology experts say the trend is clear. Within just a few short years, most of the world will be accessing the internet on mobile devices rather than on desktop PCs. Smartphones are part of the equation, but tablet PCs are a crucial part of the shift to mobile. Once upon a time, there were just one or two players in the tablet market, but now everyone's getting into the act, and competition is heating up. Some are even calling it the second wave of the tablet war. Here's a look.
Amid expectation that shipments of tablet PCs will beat shipments of desktop PCs this year, war to dominate the tablet PC market has intensified among electronics companies.
And we call it the iPad.
Since Apple's iPad, the greatest creation by Steve Jobs, hit the market in 2010, the tablet PC has emerged as the main product in the post-PC world, driving a number of global consumer electronics players to jump in the market to catch up with Apple. Tablet PC sales are expected to reach 193.4 million units this year, a rise of 47% from a year earlier. The tablet PC sales are forecast to record a compound annual growth rate of 43% by 2016.
올해 들어서 많은 메이커에서 다양한 종류의 태블릿 PC가 나오다 보니까 전년 대비 최소한 150% 이상의 성장률을 기록하고 있고요. 품목에 따라서는 200% 이상의 성장률을 보이는 것도 있습니다.
The tablet PC war has been recently heating up further by a platform war among competitors. With the introduction of Google's Nexus 7 and growing market shares of Samsung and Amazon's tablet PCs, Apple's iOS has lost ground significantly to the rivals, ending Apple's dominance in the tablet PC market that has lasted for the last 2 years. The tablet PC platform market has been shared by the Android-based operating system and the Apple's iOS, but MS recently joined the competition by launching its Windows-based Surface. Now, consumers have many choices as a wide range of tablet PCs based on different operating systems are now available in a variety of sizes and designs at different prices. Then what is the factor that makes a consumer choose a certain tablet PC?
태블릿 PC가 계속해서 크기도 작아지고 사용법도 간편해지고 휴대가 편리해지다 보니까 과거에는 이제 학생분들이 많이 찾았다면 요새는 좀 더 대중화되어서 20, 30대 직장인분들도 많이 찾고 있는 추세예요.
저는 아직 아무래도 학생이다 보니까 비용면에 이렇게 봤을 때 효율적이거나 아니면 디자인 같은 것도 많이 보게 될 것 같고요. 그리고 또 가지고 다니기 얼마나 편리한지 이런 것들을 따져보게 될 것 같아요.
Recently, sales of low-end tablet PCs with improved portability has surged by meeting demand of general consumers. Samsung Electronics, the arch rival of Apple, not only in the smartphone market but also in the tablet PC market, also kicked off sales of its low-end tablet PC, the Galaxy Tab 3, in the US in June. The Galaxy Tab 3, with a 10.1-inch display, is equipped with a new Intel processor that doubles computer performance and boosts graphic specifications by 3 times compared to the predecessors. It also supports efficient battery life. In addition, Samsung introduced 8-inch low-end tablet PC, the Galaxy Note 8, that boasts a unique design, like a tablet by adopting an S Pen function of its premium smartphone lineup, the Galaxy Note series. Samsung aims to expand its presence in the tablet PC market by employing the success factor of the Galaxy Note in its tablet PC lineup. Many low-end tablet PCs with only basic functions are getting popular among users who don't need extra high-end specifications of premium tablet PCs, giving some Korean small and medium-sized companies a chance to participate in the low-end tablet PC market.
그 쿼드코어를 장착한 그 높은 빠른 성능을 자랑을 하고 있으며, 또한 이제 태블릿 중에 그 마이크로 슬롯을 사용해서 메모리 확장성을 용이하게 지금 한 제품입니다. 또한 그 교육용의 차별화된 제품을 맞추기 위해서 각종 인터넷 강의를 지원하고 있다고 보시면 가장 큰 차별점이라고 볼 수 있습니다.
Korean SMEs target niche tablet PC markets by developing products specifically designed for delivering particular contents like education and health. In particular, this tablet PC is developed as a tutoring tool to support lectures on the internet by applying a 10-inch large-size display, not a 7-inch screen that is typically employed in most low-end tablet PCs. Here is another tablet PC product developed for the use in the education field. By adopting an HDMI port, this tablet PC enables users to view the tablet PC contents on TV screens or general monitors, making it easy to use not only in schools but also in offices.
다양하게 뭐 외부 미팅이라든지 뭐 집에서도 그 카페나 다양한 이제 휴가인 경우 그런 경우에도 다양하게 사용할 수 있는 게 아무래도 어디서든지 사용할 수 있도록 뭐 클라우드 서비스라든지 저장 장치를 들고 다니면서 쓸 수 있는 측면이 호환성 면에서도 좋은 것 같습니다. 지금 보시는 것처럼.
In order to improve price competitiveness, small and medium-sized businesses house an SD card slot in their tablet PCs for memory expansion instead of offering a large internal storage base. They try to deliver quality products at affordable prices.
다른 회사들보다 빠른 기능업이라든가 빠른 CPU를 적용을 해서 더 발빠르게 움직여서 국내 시장의 중소기업 점유율을 50% 이상 올려서 현재 나가는 게 목표고요. 컨텐츠를 이용한 학습계 개발이 지금 현재보다는 몇 배 이상, 수십 배 이상 더 커갈 거라고 생각을 하고, 저희도 그쪽 분야에 저희 개발 인력과 저희 이제 영업 인력들을 대거 그쪽으로 투입을 많이 하고 있습니다.
Amid the intensifying tablet PC war in the post-PC era, everyone continues to keep an eye on who the winner will be in the end later this year.
You know, brushing our teeth is a habit we all take for granted, and we don't really spare a thought for the technology that goes into the humble toothbrush. Well, today on Bizline, we're going to change all of that. In our Hidden Champions segment, we're going to look at a Korean company that gave the world a bold leap forward in brushing technology.
Clean teeth reflect one's health and act as a symbol of beauty. The invention of the toothbrush has improved oral hygiene for humankind. We introduce Clio, the Korean toothbrush brand that is leading the oral hygiene of the global community. A toothbrush is an essential item for those of us who brush our teeth 3 times a day. Due to its necessity, most people are meticulous about choosing their personal toothbrush at stores. What brand do consumers prefer when it comes to domestic and overseas toothbrush brands?
지연이가 쓸 수도 있겠다 조금 해서 그치? 아무래도 잇몸이 약하기 때문에 칫솔이 많이 부드러운가를 좀 중점적으로 보고 있어요. 그리고 아무래도 디자인도 예쁘면 더 좋겠죠. 칫솔 개도 좀 이렇게 심플하고 잘 미끄러지지 않나 그런 걸 우선적으로 보고 있어요.
재료가 소재가 안전한 건가, 애들이 쓰기에 적합한 소재로 만들어져 있는지 그런 거 보고 구입해요.
There are many people who prefer to buy Korean brands. Maybe this is why customers turn to the Clio toothbrush.
이렇게 좀 둥근 거, 나는 요 끝에가 조금 너무 두껍지 않고 그런 게 좋아요.
앞에 헤드가 얇게 되어 있어갖고 아이들 어금니까지 깨끗하게 닦일 수 있을 것 같아요. 그래서 보면서.
Brushing is key in maintaining good oral hygiene. This is why it's important to choose a good toothbrush that does not agitate the gums while eliminating dental plaque.
칫솔 머리 부분이 앞니 한 2-3개 정도 덮을 정도 좀 작은 게 좋습니다. 그리고 칫솔모가 너무 강하지 않고 부드러운 칫솔을 사용하는 게 좋고, 손잡이는 좀 직선형의 그런 모습을 갖고 있는 칫솔이 좋고, 오히려 안 좋은 칫솔을 사용함으로써 잇몸에 상처를 주게 됩니다.
Clio is a medium-sized Korean company that specializes in household items, and it is also a well-known domestic toothbrush maker. The company started off by making disposable toothbrushes back in the 80s as a family industry. Clio relied on product quality, which became the competitive edge that helped with its survival in a competitive market dominated by foreign brands and large domestic companies. Clio boasts a unique technology, represented by its licensed rounded bristle toothbrushes.
칫솔은 생활용품이기 이전에 아주 중요한 위생도구입니다. 위생도구라는 것은 사람의 몸에 질병을 치료할 수는 없더라도 질병으로부터 보호할 수 있는 기능은 갖추어야 되겠죠.
Normal rounded bristles can effectively remove dental plaque, but it does not reach deep inside and in between the teeth. Fine bristle toothbrushes are effective in cleaning between the teeth and gums, but due to the lack of bristle strength, it is not able to remove dental plaque off the teeth. The conventional multi-length bristle toothbrush combines normal and fine bristles, and it is widely available in the market. But the problem with the portion of normal bristles is that it ends up agitating the teeth and gums, since it didn't go through the rounding process. Clio's multi-length rounded bristle technology is a one-of-a-kind that has not been replicated by any other company in the world. Clio toothbrush bristles are processed to form the multi-length rounded or MLR bristles by incorporating the PBT rounded bristle technology that has received a global license.
뾰족한 미세모는 그냥 뾰족하고 일반모 쪽의 끝부분을 둥글게 가공하는 그 기술이 적용되어 있는 칫솔모가 라운드 미세모가 되는 겁니다.
The toothbrush is designed to remove dental plaque on the natural curves of the teeth, while the rounded bristle ends minimize gum agitation. The Korea Consumer Agency has recently chosen Clio's Junior toothbrush as the best product out of 36 toothbrushes sold in the market, based on product quality within a similar price range. It took Clio 10 years to develop the world's first rounded fine bristles. The company has strived to reach the present status through the process of grinding and melting the bristle ends.
수없이 반복을 했어요. 이렇게도 해보고 용액의 농도도 조절을 해보고 여러 가지 방법을 사용해봤지만 그게 안 되더라고요. 모의 밀도를 변화를 주게 되면 알칼리 용액에서 녹는 시간에 변화가 생긴다는 걸 알았습니다. 그래서 라운드 미세모가 개발이 됐던 거예요. 그게 바로 특허 기술입니다.
Clio is taking small steps to create the best product in the global oral hygiene market through continuous progress in technological development.
오랜 가압을 통한 세월의 노하우, 그리고 기술 개발을 게을리하지 않는 쟁의로서의 의무감, 이런 것들을 통해서 소비자들로부터 잊혀지지 않고 소비자들이 사랑해주는 회사로 존재하고 있지 않나, 그렇게 진단을 합니다.
The history of the toothbrush has come a long way, from when it was made with materials like branches, plant roots and animal fur, to the current type of toothbrush made from nylon. As Clio reaches higher grounds in technological advancement, the standard of oral hygiene is expected to improve around the world.
Koreans know all too well that the 1950s war on the peninsula never formally ended. It was just paused by an armistice, which is still in effect today. Both sides recently marked the 60th anniversary of that armistice, which was signed on July 27, 1953. North Korea views the day as a massive victory. The streets of Pyongyang were filled with a massive parade aimed at showing the world a military that is supposedly as strong as ever. But there was also international media present in Pyongyang on that day, and they captured a slightly different perspective. Here's a look at that.
On July 27th, North Korea made the headlines of global news for its largest military parade in history, marking the 60th anniversary of the armistice, or Victory Day, as it claims. Blocks of goose-stepping soldiers marched across Pyongyang's central square, followed by columns of tanks and a wide array of military hardware, including missiles, cannons, and rockets on mobile launchers. North Korea is believed to have spent more than $160 million on the event.
김정은 3대 세습의 어떤 내부 결속력을 대내외에 과시하기 위해서 약 13,000명 이상의 대규모 병력과 또 약 400여 대의 대형 장비들을 동원해서 밀리터리 퍼레이드를 진행한 것입니다.
North Korea's parade tradition hails back to the founding of the country in 1948. Since then, a total of 29 parades took place to commemorate important national holidays, including the 100th anniversary of Kim Il-sung's birth last year. Over the decades, the scale has increased.
24명의 12행대로 이렇게 해서 288명이 구성되어 있는데 김일성의 얼굴이라도 한번 얼굴 보는 게 그걸 영광으로 생각하죠, 북한 사람들은.
Not everybody who volunteers can take part.
북한의 119만 명 정규군 중에서 키가 이제 1m 75cm 이상이 되면 선발이 되는 것입니다. 김일성, 김정일, 김정은의 앞을 사열해야 되니까 출신 성분이 좋은 사람들로 선발을 해서 연습을 시켜서 진행을 합니다.
The selected go through intensive training for at least 3 months to master marching in unison with the average stride length at 70 centimeters and height at 60 centimeters. They must pass before the 216-meter-long podium within 1 minute and 40 seconds, where their supreme leader stands with a proud smile.
발을 그냥 걸어가는 게 아니라 발을 이렇게 올리 튕기면서 가거든요. 그걸 한두 번도 아니고 장기간 한 1년씩 훈련을 하니까 내장이 흔들려서 실제 내장 파열까지 오는 애들도 있고 기본은 위 하수가 많이 걸리고
특히 사람뿐만 아니라 무기까지도 이제 줄을 서서 나오다가 이제 시동이 꺼져가지고 그러면 이제 그 시동 꺼진 건 제때 드러낼 수 있는 그런 중장비가 딱 준비되어 있습니다. 그래서 딱 시동 꺼지는 건 딱 세게 드러내지 않으면 그 김정일한테 꼴리면 그 지휘관들이 이제 처벌을 받으니까 그렇게 걔들은 그 이제 아주 밀리터리 퍼레이드를 완벽하게 준비하죠.
Mass military parades are the climax of the North's political propaganda, which usually reflects the status of its authority at the time.
참여한 주석단이 규모가 어떤가, 또한 그 배치가 어떻게 되어 있는가에 따라서 북한에서의 권력 순위가 바뀌었다든지, 최근에 보면은 이제 건강 이상설이 돌았던 김정은의 고모인 김경희가 참석함으로써 김경희가 건재하다라는 것을 보여줬고요.
July's military parade was unprecedented in several aspects. Chinese Vice President Li Yuanchao was placed in second place next to Kim Jong-un instead of Kim Yong-nam, the North's head of parliament.
북한이 중국에게 뭔가 잘 보이고 중국과의 불편한 관계 이것을 좀 개선하려는 의지를 보여주고 북중 관계가 잘 되고 있다. 이것을 좀 북한 주민들에게 선전하기 위한 그 노림수였다고 평가할 수 있습니다.
Next, ordinary citizens representing different groups of people who fought for the communists at the Korean War participated in the parade, meaning victory for all. Thirdly, an array of large-scale models of military equipment was displayed. And what especially caught the eyes of the public were backpacks with a radioactive symbol.
북한이 의도적으로 자신들이 그 핵 무기를 소형화시킬 수 있는 기술을 이미 확보했다라는 것을 해외에 과시하기 위한 측면이 있지 않나 봅니다.
Another noticeable showcase was a number of helicopters and fighter jets conducting an air show.
김정일과 김일성 시대는 그 신변 안전 때문에 비행기가 주석단 앞에로 날아간다는 건 상상도 못했습니다. 김정은이 이만큼 나이가 젊고 그러다 보니까 자신감이 아닌가 대형 이제 헬기를 띄워가지고 그 김정은 시대를 뭔가 알리는 그런 그 장비가 이번에 특별히 많이 동원됨으로써 예산도 많이 소모되는.
Lastly, the North granted invitations to a handful of foreign journalists, including BBC and CNN. In addition, the secretive nation allowed close-up shots of the parade and the aftermath. In one photograph, a collapsed soldier is carried by his fellow comrades. What is little known to the world is how many North Koreans fall victim to this grandiose parade.
북한군들 걷는 모습을 보면 거의 90도에 가깝게 고관절을 구부리기 때문에 고관절 앞에 있는 비구순이라는 관절 연골의 손상에 대한 가능성도 있고요. 허리 디스크 탈출에 의한 신경 압박 증상이 발생한다고 한다면 다리 증상을 유발할 수가 있죠. 마비 증상 발생할 수도 있고요.
다시 대학으로 들여보내서 공부를 시키는데 한 달 만에 갑자기 다리를 못 쓰는 거예요. 나중에 알아보니까 연령식 훈련 참가자들 중에 그렇게 다리 못 써서 들어온 환자들이 종종 있은 거예요. 그러니까 뭐 어쩌다 한 번씩이 아니더라고요. 아무런 약이 없다는 거예요. 그냥 있으래요. 진짜 그때 생각하면 참 미칠 것 같아요.
For this July's parade alone, $160 million was spent to celebrate what Pyongyang calls Victory Day and to boast its military might.
워낙 북한에서 뭐 정권보다는 당을 더 중시하는데 당 창건이 아니기 때문에 또 하긴 어렵지 않겠나. 워낙 예산이 많이 들어가니까 북한 경제가 궁핍한데 뭐 퍼레이드해서 힘내려다가 오히려 이제 쓰러지는 결과가 되니까 안 하지 않겠나 그렇게 봅니다.
The world appreciates interesting news. But North Korea should realize what the world would appreciate more is its efforts to improve the livelihoods of its people rather than its military bluff.
And that is Bizline for this week. Next week, we'll be looking at Korea's 30-year-old semiconductor industry. and talking about ways to promote Korean tourism. Andrew Salmon will be right back here for all of that. I'm Kurt Asian for Bizline. Thanks for watching.